Ezekiel 37, verse 16. Esau knows that the prophets are back. Anyway, what I did, I had typed in Ezekiel 37, verse 16 in Google, and I put in commentary. And I went to Bible Hub, Ezekiel 37, verse 16, and you get a bunch of different commentaries from different so-called Bible scholars. So I went to the commentary of Keel and Delitzitz, however you say it, see it on the screen there, biblical commentary on the Old Testament. So this is what it says. As you can see, it says reunion of Israel as one nation under the future King David. So they're telling you that they understand that all the tribes are going to come back together. And they even tell you that I believe it's in this commentary how the tribes had split up, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. So they're telling you in the opening statement, the headline, reunion of Israel as one nation under the future King David. Now this destroys the people over there in the land of Israel today that call themselves Jews, because where are the other tribes? That's all you have to ask them. If this is the fulfillment of 1948 was the fulfillment of prophecy of the Jews coming back to Israel, it doesn't say that. It says Israel. It says the 12 tribes or the two kingdoms coming back together, and that King David will rule over them. So where's King David? King David's not over there. And you know, these Edomites are losing sleep over what we're doing, but we're doing the will of the Most High. You know, it says in Amos 3, who can but prophesy? If the Spirit's on you to prophesy, you're going to prophesy. So let me continue to read. It says, this word of the Most High directs the prophet to represent by a sign the reunion of the tribes of Israel. Now, there's no record or no fulfillment of Ezekiel walking around with a 12 tribe sign. And for you individuals out there that say, well, I'm not with that camp thing and I'm not with the 12 tribe thing, the 12 tribe thing is bogus and fake and all this, you're not men of the Lord. When we out there, we make sure we have that 12 tribe sign out there. Now, sometimes you might see us and the sign is not there, but that's very rare. But when we set up the camp, there's a brother that brings the 12 tribe sign and sets it up. And you get people that pass by, and most of the time, believe it or not, they'll look at the 12 tribe sign, and then they might see Simeon, Dominicans, and they'll say, what does that mean? That happens all the time. You get them so-called Jews, when they see us, they look at us, they try to process everything, then their eyes focus right on the 12 tribe sign. And they'll either ask a question about it or won't say anything. And then if we get in a conversation with a so-called Jew, they'll go back and forth with us, and all of a sudden, they'll say, this is too much for me. And they'll walk down the street. The truth is kicking Esau in the ass. And you have Jakes out there that are trained. These guys like in the Kemetic community, not all of them, but some of them have been trained, in my belief, by Esau to attack the whole Hebrew Israelite thing. And we can see right through it. You got this guy, Grandmaster Jay, which popped up around the early summer, or right around May, June. And you had all these Jakes, just follow this guy. And he had him dress up in all black and walking around with assault rifles, AR-15s, whatever they had. And you had women up in there. And I believe the first brother in Israel that made a video on it was, I believe it was Yashawamba, GMS Dallas, Elder Yashawamba. And I believe Elder Malcolm did one. There was a couple of brothers. And I saw these videos, and I said, in my mind, I said, why even make a video on it? I said, this guy's a clown, But then he started going on different shows, and people started talking about him. Then all of a sudden, he kind of disappears. He gets arrested by the feds, and then he's back on the scene again with the 144,000 thing. And mind you, he started with the Kemetic thing. Then he went from 1 week, he was a Kemetic brother, and then 2 weeks later, he became a Hebrew Israelite. So you Jakes, and you know what it says in Matthew 24 about false messiahs and false prophets, that you will be fooled. I'm paraphrasing Matthew 24, but the elect will not be fooled. Anyway, it goes on to say the word of the Most High directs the prophet to represent by a sign the reunion of the tribes of Israel, which have been divided into two kingdoms. So the Old Testament Israelites, they really don't understand prophecy. And you'll never see an Old Testament Israelite with the 12 tribe sign. Now, when we say that the Israelites, the 12 tribes are scattered through North, Central, and South America of Indian and so-called Negro descent, we're correct. You got guys saying that, all the 12 tribes got to look like John Shaft. Most sides not dealing with them. So it says, it speaks about the kingdom being divided. It says Ezekiel 37:15-17, and to explain this sign to the people. What people? The Israelites. But then you're gonna have heathens that's gonna ask about the sign too. If the heathen looks like an Edomite, he probably is an Edomite. You tell him most likely you're an Edomite and your future is slavery, and predicts its sanctification and blessedness under the reign of the future David. And that's Ezekiel 37 and starting at verse 22. So you know what I'm going to do? Let me go to that real quick. Okay, it's from 22 to 28. So let me read that real quick. And you got to understand that these Edomites, you have Edomites that are paid, this is their job, to search the scriptures. If they read about King David, they'll say, well, King David, this is King David's house or King David's castle, or they're looking for King David's sword or any remnant pursuant to Jeremiah 8:1. They'll actually go and dig that place up and see what they can find pertaining to King David. That's how Esau thinks. He thinks logically. He's not a faith-based person, or they're not a faith-based people. They'll read the scriptures. For example, the Noah's Ark. They read in the scriptures. They know that it landed in Mount Ararat in Turkey. They go to Turkey and they'll see if there's remnants of it, and there's remnants of Noah's Ark. So that proves that there was an ark, a gigantic ship that's embedded in a mountain, Mount Ararat in Turkey. So they know. It says, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, or the government of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. And that's King David, as the commentary said. But they're saying, oh, it's a new King David. He's going to be like King David. No, it's actually going to be King David. And I believe the Jehovah's Witnesses, or the Jehovah's Witness, they say, well, David is really the Messiah. No, he's not. David is David coming back in his order. See, the thing that these Christians can't understand is reincarnation. That's a major stumbling block for these so-called Christians. Let me read on, 22nd verse, Ezekiel 37. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. That's why you got certain, you got our, you got myself, Apostle Gabar and Apostle Ryan Lob, and then you got Bishop, new Bishop Sakharan, and I would be Levi. Gabar would either be Judah or Levi, and then you have two Ephraimites. So those are two different kingdoms, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom coming together. You go out to like GMS Chicago, GMS in LA, GMS Florida, you got Ephraimites, you got Issachar, you got Manasseh, a couple of Simeonites. So that's them tribes coming back together. It says, here I am. I'm preaching to the choir. Y'all already know this is for the people that's coming up, but this is more proof. It said, neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, because they're going to be changed in a moment and a twinkling of an eye. Now the elder Yashawamba did a video about, are we in the new covenant? And the answer is no. The new covenant will come. Now, I don't know what he says in the video. I got to watch it. But the new covenant is going to come when we are changed. Because when the new covenant comes, we're going to keep the laws perfectly. We're going to be programmed to keep the laws. So the new covenant, you can say we're in between the old covenant and the new covenant. The new covenant will come when the Most High beams us up and changes us. It says, 23rd verse, neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor with their detestable things. And ain't no Jake gonna eat pork or shrimp. There ain't gonna be no more adultery in the kingdom of heaven, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places. So where do we dwell? A lot of us dwell in America, and all the tribes, a piece of all the tribes are in America now. That was unheard of in the 1800s. You know, you had here in the 1800s, you had Jake because of slavery, you had Esau, you might have had you had some Issacharites, and you had Gad and Reuben. That's all you had. The rest of the tribes started coming in. The tribe of Ephraim started coming up into the Americas really around about the 50s. Then you had Simeon come up in the 60s. So you have all the tribes up here now. You have a representation of all the tribes in America and scattered throughout the whole planet Earth. It says, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places. You're going to have Israelites that's going to be delivered that look like Edomites, and they're going to be changed, wherein they have sinned, and I will and will cleanse them, and that's the new covenant. How is he going to cleanse us with the new covenant? How is he going to do it? By changing us. So shall they be my people, and I will be their power. Because now it's, was that Hosea 1, the Most High said, these are not my people. He's saying, I don't recognize these people. But those people that he doesn't recognize as being his people are his people, which are the Israelites. Now it says the Davidic kingdom. Right, the Davidic kingdom is a kingdom of heaven on earth. The head king is going to be King David, which is Peter. It says 24th verse. And David, and I don't got to read the commentary no more. You can go ahead and read it. But it said, and David, my servant, shall be king over them. And they shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments. Why? Because the Most High is going to change us and make us perfect. And we're going to keep the laws and statutes and commandments perfectly because of the new covenant. The new covenant is putting the laws in your inward, the laws that were given to Moses to be put in your inward parts. And observe my statutes and do them. You have like in a Jake household, you might be an Israelite, but your uncle might be a Muslim. Or your parents, might still be Christians. Yeah, our people are really fucked up, man. These are fucked up people, man. These Jakes get all into the Christmas spirit. These workers that I know talking about Happy New Year, and this year I told them, I said, it ain't gonna be happy. This New Year is not gonna be happy, and they get offended. I said, look, look, 2001 is gonna make 2021 is gonna make 2020 look like a walk in the park. And they get offended. Then they'll see me the next time, a Happy New Year. They'll say it, a Happy New Year. Ain't gonna be no Happy New Year. This ain't no peaceful world. Inside joke. It says, Ezekiel 37, verse 25. And they shall dwell in the land. So this clown, Ricard, the GOCC, he had these back in 09. He said, they're going to give you the H1N1, they're going to give you the vaccination, and that's the chip and all this nonsense, so you better flee. And he had all those people flee to Egypt, all these dummies flee to Egypt. And the scripture said, cursed be the man that trusts in man. They fled to Egypt or Jordan or whatever they went, and basically they couldn't find this guy. And they all had to work their way back, coming over here to the States. And you know what they did? They said, I'm not an Israelite no more. They took the whole Hebrew Israelite thing and threw it in the garbage. That's how it goes, man. You encountered a false teacher, and he pulled a fast one on you. It says, and they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt, and they shall dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever, which is the kingdom of heaven. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. That's a new covenant. So that's future tense. He says, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant, the new covenant with them. So are we in a new covenant? No. And I will place them and multiply them, and will set, and that's a physical kingdom on the earth. Because you don't have sex in the spiritual realm. That's in the physical realm. And will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. Now you can go to Revelation. My tabernacle also shall be with them. Yeah, I will be their power, and they shall be my people, which are Israelites, physical Israel, of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the heathen, the other nations, shall know that I am Yahweh to sanctify Israel, where my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them forevermore. So this is why these Edomites want to be us so bad. Anyway, I can cut it short. Let me come back to this commentary. But they pretty much tell you in this commentary. And if I don't have a particular topic, all I do is I'll take a particular scripture, controversial scripture, and I'll put in commentary. And normally what I'll do is I'll go to the Bible Hub, because Google will give you a bunch of sites to go to, and I'll always click on Bible Hub. Anyway, you can read the rest of this. With that, I'm going to say shalom.